So Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown is an impressive platformer that probably has some of the best platforming in gaming, to be quite honest. I was very impressed with what they pulled off with this game. It's a lot of inspiration is taken from the Metroidvania series, so the Metroid games from Nintendo. But yeah, this is going to be my spoiler-free review. I'm going to put some kind of like a little bit of early gameplay up on screen as kind of background B-roll, but I'm not going to spoil anything late game, and I'm going to do my very best to give you guys as much information as I can, like I said, without spoiling any kind of, you know, big portions of the game for you guys. First things first, though, a huge thanks to the kind folks over at Ubisoft for providing me with a copy of this game for the purpose of content. This is not a sponsored video. What that means is I'm not getting paid for this. They gave me a game, I got the game for free, and that's pretty much where it ends. I'm not obligated to say anything nice or anything specific. All these thoughts are 100% my own, and if you've been around the channel for quite some time, you know that my thoughts are always 100% my own and transparent. If I don't like something, I'm gonna let you guys know. Also, please do keep in mind, this is, you know, everything is subjective, right? This is my opinion, this is my experience. You may think otherwise, you might think higher than I think, or lower, or maybe the same. So just keep that in mind. Everything's subjective at the end of the day. All right, let's go ahead and jump into this. So Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, I'm gonna start off with about approximate game time. I'm the kind of player that goes pretty, you know, straightforward to the story, main story, with minimal side quests. So you got to keep that in mind. I like to do side quests maybe after the fact if I want to go clear up 100% game or whatever. I did a couple side quests. For the most part, I stuck mostly to the main story, and it took me about 10 or 11 hours, give or take. So if you really rush this game, you can get it done in about 10 hours. But if you take a little bit more time to kind of explore it and things like that, which I did a little bit kind of minimally, then it's going to last a little bit longer. To give you a little bit of context, at the time of recording, I just finished the main story with a couple side quests, and it still says that I'm only done like pretty much, I think like 53% of the game, I think was what my save file said. So there's a lot of side stuff, a lot of exploration, a lot of treasure to be found, and that's kind of the you know, part of the charm of this game. Now, if you've played Metroid Dread, for example, or any of the Metroid games, but I'm saying Metroid Dread because I feel like this game is specifically influenced from Metroid Dread. Now, what I mean by that is not like it's a copy paste or anything like that, not like it's like a Prince of Persia skin on Metroid. That's not what I mean, but you got to keep in mind that even the devs are, you know, kind of comparing it to the Metroid series and how this, you know, game is formatted and built. And I when I was going through this, it really felt, in my opinion, like the devs had played Metroid Dread and other Metroid games, but again, Metroid Dread being the most recent 2D Metroid game after, you know, a long hiatus. And it felt like the devs played that game and were like, you know, hey, man, this game's fun. We love it. And we want to create something inspired by our enjoyment for this game. And that's, in my opinion, when the best games and best, you know, content in general, whether it's music or movies or TVs or gaming, I think that's when it's best made, is when it's influenced by something else that they love. And that's how it felt. It didn't feel like they were trying to copy Metroid Dread. It felt like the devs enjoyed that game so much they wanted to create a game that was influenced by it and in like this sort of kind of same style in that sense. And that's what they created. And I think they executed that beautifully while, you know, making it their own thing, making it their own game, while taking influence from that game and series, the Metroidvania series. Now, in terms of how this game is set up, right? It's not a 3D kind of Prince of Persia game like, you know, maybe people are used to from, you know, old Prince of Persia games. It is a 2D side scroller. Like I said, I'm comparing it to Metroid Dread, Metroid, you know, games in general. So if you're familiar with that, that's how it is. So it's going to be kind of like you're exploring this world, and there's going to be portions where you're going to see like, oh, there's a treasure up here, or there's a spot up here or over there or wherever that I just can't get to right now. And so, you know, you can keep that in mind for later. You got to, you know, maybe come back later on. And that's kind of how it's structured, right? It's like you unlock new abilities as you progress through the game. Those new abilities will allow you to get unlocked to, you know, new areas, new secrets, new treasures, and different things like that. So that's kind of the format of it, and I think they did it really, really good. I think that the art style is really cool. I like the art style. I like the kind of, you know, skybox that they got going on in the background. It's just really nice art. There's a lot of different. I'm not talking to you, Siri. I'm not. as I was saying, I like the skybox. I like the, you know, just the art. There's some really beautiful kind of, you know, backgrounds and scenery, even though it is a 2D kind of side scroller. And the music is really good. I really liked the music. You know, it's really sets the mood, really sets the tone. And I think overall, just kind of, you know, in terms of the environment, in terms of the aesthetics, and like I said, everything that kind of, you know, works harmoniously together to make the experience that much better, was really well done. Again, that's my opinion. In terms of the platforming, I think the platforming is really where this game shines strongly. The platforming was really good. I mean, it could get a little bit challenging at times, I'll admit. But there are times where you have to link a bunch of different abilities back to back in ways that really make you think outside of the box, and in ways that, I mean, I've played a lot of platforming games in my life, but I don't think I've ever experienced platforming to like maybe this extent. I mean, it's really well done. I think they really had a lot of fun kind of creating, you know, some of the puzzles too and different things like that. Some of the, you know, kind of secret places to get to unlock, you know, secret treasures and different things like that. And again, the platforming is really good. You know, there's a mixture of, you know, jumping and dashing and you know, kind of bouncing off walls. What I mean by that is, like, you know, you'll jump on a wall and then you'll kind of jump off of that wall to the next wall, you know, kind of wall to wall kind of, you know, platforming. There's obviously different kinds of, you know, there's like poles all over the place where you can kind of swing on and you kind of jump off in a different direction. And there's other abilities that I don't want to spoil for you guys that you're going to unlock that is really fun and just kind of unlocks the platforming to an even bigger, deeper level that you may anticipate. So I think the platforming is absolutely phenomenal. Moving on from that, the combat is it's really fun as well. Like I said, as you unlock new abilities, you're going to unlock new ways to kind of take on different kind of scenarios, bosses, different things like that. You'll have different kind of tools at your disposal in order to you know, take on these different bosses, and some of the abilities you'll unlock will actually help you kind of fight these bosses in different ways, in new ways. Again, I'm trying to be very careful, trying to be very careful not to spoil anything for you guys. I will say the bosses were a blast. Besides the platforming, I would say like next in line in terms of the strong suit for this game are the bosses. I mean, I was playing on normal and it was pretty challenging. But that actually leads me to one other thing that I do want to talk about, is that if you actually go into the options section and you go to your difficulty section, you can actually go ahead and you can tweak the difficulty. And what I mean by that is you can have a custom difficulty mode. So you can have your you know, your rookie, your warrior, hero, and immortal. So, you know, rookie's obviously going to be like easy. Warrior is going to be more of you know, kind of like normal. Hero is going to be hard, and then immortal is going to be like very hard, right? But beyond that, there's sliders for everything. So there's enemy damage, and you can actually like customize that. So for example, if we go to rookie, it's an enemy damage is 0.5, but if we go to warrior, it's a 1.0. What if you want something a little bit in between? You know, like rookie's too easy, but warrior's too, you know, which is normal, is maybe a little bit too tricky, too hard. We can actually adjust these sliders, and they adjust by 0.1. So you can go down to like 0.9, just take a little bit less amount of damage dealt by enemies. And same thing with environmental damage, enemy health, parry difficulty. It could be hard, normal, easy, dodge window, likewise normal or long. A bunch of different things like that. So it's really nice that there's that kind of, you know, nuanced customizability, I guess, for lack of a better word. I wish more, you know, games would do this, because sometimes, you know, some games are a little bit more difficult on normal. You don't want to go on easy. That's too easy. And so you end up having to settle for one or the other. So this was really nice to go in between. And then same thing with the gameplay, right? The gameplay, you have guided if you want to actually see, you know, where there's like icons on the map to show you, you know, where you got to go next, or if you want to completely turn that off and just have to figure it out for yourself, you know, you could do that. I mean, guided just means that you have a little emblem on your map that'll show you, you know, where your next objective is, right? And you can disable that if you want to kind of just, you know, make it more exploration based. So that was really nice as well. Again, there's a lot of different settings in there. It's nice to play with. Moving on from that, like I said, the boss fights are really fun. They can be pretty challenging. There's a bunch of different kind of, you know, move sets that each boss is going to present, and they all present a little bit of a different way to you know, kind of attack and take them on, I guess, for lack of a better phrasing. And I really just enjoy the boss fights overall. There's quite a few of them as well. Just off the top of my head, I feel like there was probably at least over 10 boss fights, definitely. Again, I didn't count, but there's a lot. There's a lot. The map is large. I don't want to show you the map because it's spoilery, but the map is large. There's a lot to see, a lot to explore. Like I said, there's different environments. You're gonna find different enemies in different environments, different types, and also in each environment, you're going to find a variety of different kinds of enemies in those specific environments. So like, for example, right, you can have like the kind of forest area. There's going to be some specific enemies that are, you know, just for that area, but also there's going to be a wide variety of enemies for that area. Does that make sense? I don't know how else to really kind of explain that. Beyond that, like I said, the story-wise, I guess it would be the last thing, the main thing to tackle. And the story takes some twists and turns that I don't think you're going to expect. Is it the most mind-blowing story ever? No, it's not like the most crazy story ever, but it's a really good story. I'll say that. It is a really solid story. If I was to base it off the story alone and give you just the story, I would say it's probably like a good like 7.8, maybe an 8 out of 10 story-wise alone. I would say the platforming is probably like a 9.5 if I'm like going, you know, kind of individually. I'd say the boss fights are probably a solid 9 to 9.5 in my opinion, and there's just a lot of fun to be had with it. So there's that. I will say before we actually kind of give the review, there's a couple other things we do have to mention, and that is stuff like you know, you got your character, you got your amulets. So there's going to be amulets, and you can find amulet holders which allow you to hold more, but amulets are basically going to give you different kinds of perks, right? So just for one example, one of them could be like increase all melee damage attack damage in the air. Would be one of them, or one of them is to you know, collect time crystals from a distance. I'm not going to tell you what time crystals are, but you'll have to figure that out for yourself. One of them is a blessing that will give you an extra health boost, but once you lose that, it's gone until you get it regenerated at these places called whack trees. These trees will restore all of your health. They're also places to kind of save the game. So when you go to a tree, it'll automatically save. There is fast travel options. There are these statues you can unlock across the map that will help traversal, you know, be a little bit more ideal, a little bit better. So you can unlock that as well. And so that's some of the stuff you can expect. There's also a shop kind of like in the main area that you can go to that can give you extra things. You can buy certain amulets there. You can buy other kind of nice things, like you can buy extra potions, so you can hold more potions, which again, those restore and replenish every time you visit a whack tree. You can also buy upgrades that will make it so that your potions do more, like they heal you more. There's also a forge you can discover. I'm not going to explain how, which you can increase your amulet's potency, basically, where for example, you can go from just a lightly increase in whatever perk they're offering to a moderate, and then if you upgrade it again, it'll be greatly increases whatever it's supposed to do. And also that also comes in play with your weaponry. You can increase the damage output of your weaponry at this forge, but you will need some special items, some special treasure that you're going to find along the way. So make sure you're exploring if you want to do some of these upgrades, at least in the forge, because yeah, you're gonna need some stuff. So all that to say, there's a lot of fun to be had with this game. I think the characters were very interesting. I think the story is very solid. You can see that this game is getting a lot of great reviews across the board, and I'm gonna go ahead and give this game a solid 9.2 out of 10. I had an absolute blast with this game. I think if you like kind of Metroid, you know, games, that style of game, I think you absolutely have to play this game. If you're a fan of the Prince of Persia series, it is different than probably what you're used to, But this game is a lot of fun, and I still think it's a must play for any Prince of Persia fan, and any fan of platforming, and just, you know, it's just a breath of fresh air. I said it before I played the game, when they revealed it. This game looks like a breath of fresh air. It looks like just, you know, going back to the roots of what makes, you know, games just enjoyable, just kind of creative, just kind of, you know, simple fun, you know, not overly complicated, really just letting the creative juices flow. And that's what I felt playing this game. Like I said earlier, I felt like the devs just had a lot of fun being creative with this game, and just, it felt like a kind of game that they probably had fun making. That's the sense I got. And again, you can kind of tell as a player when that's the case, or when it's just kind of one of those games that feel more kind of corporate, if you will. And that doesn't feel like that with this game was, excuse me. It felt more like back to the roots of just devs having fun with creating a game. So I enjoyed it a lot. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Again, huge thanks to Ubisoft for providing me with a copy of this game. It was a blast, man. It was a blast. So let me know your thoughts. Again, I hope I'm not missing anything. I like to do these kind of reviews off the top of my head more, because I feel like they become more transparent that way, and just feels a little bit more genuine for you guys, and less scripted, like I'm reading off a script or something, you know. So I don't know. Thanks for watching. Stick around for more. We do a variety of gaming content here on the channel. Talk about the games, play the games. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. Another one. Tell them friends. Game on. Thanks for watching. Hey you! What are you doing? Join the Skeleton Army! Do it today! Don't wait till tomorrow, because tomorrow might never come. The Earth is gonna fade, that's inevitable. The next second of your life's not even promised, so you better think about where you're going, and you might as well just join the Skeleton Army. Plus, we do kind of like you a little bit, so it'd be nice to see you around here. But if you don't want to, hey, you're lost. See you later!